Billy Blanks, how are you today? I didn't even
I'm
ask you
doing
that when we were talking before.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to carrying a good conversation with you today.
Yeah, so I just have to set some context here with the listeners because back in 2000, no, yes, 2000 to 2003-ish, you were my guru from afar with getting me motivated. Every
Hmm.
morning, my little kids, like, I actually literally have a picture, I'm going to find it, of me like doing Tae Bo with my little toddlers behind me,
Oh, that's
preparing
awesome.
to do the Mrs. Utah pageant.
Well, I think that's awesome.
But what's funny, Billy, is that like, I know we connected through your wife, and I got to know you through your wife,
Hmm.
and that's cool. But what's interesting about how this has all come full circle is that it wasn't. I loved the workout. It was a great workout, but I connected to your like spirit, like
Mm.
just you were just like I can't remember what it's like. Some of the stuff has still stuck in my head. Like it's not going to get you there. You know, thinking about it, reading about it, it's not going to get you there. And it was like the bottom line thing that I needed to hear, that
Hmm.
you were like coaching us as we were working out. You're giving us like life advice.
Well,
So it
you know,
helps me
I
with
just
my
think,
mindset in a pageant to just have that, hey, you know, here I am.
well, you know what? I think one of the most important things about when you said you worked out with the videos and the videos kind of grab you that way. Well, my thing was to be able to not just be in the back showing people exercises. My goal was to be able to jump out of the screen and make people feel like I was in the living room right with them,
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
And sometimes, I would walk around, I would grab the camera, I would say, hold on, I see you over there, hold on. And
I
I
know,
would say
it's
different names,
funny.
and, and the names that I say out loud might be the person who's working out with me, and what they do is go, oh, I think he's talking to me. Yep. And I go like this, you're right, I am talking to you. Right now, you're probably getting on the couch, you're probably a little tired, but all you need to do is just reach inside yourself. And I always say you got to give some to get some. No
Right.
give, no get. Things like
Exactly.
that, to help get people going. That's now, come on, get up off the couch. I don't care if you have to walk strong. Just walk like you with an attitude and walk like you in control of the workout. And I always tell, I like to say this: who has the power, you or the video?
Mm.
You do. You
Yeah.
control the video. At any time, you can hit that button and turn me off. That's how much power and authority you have. So
Yeah.
put on the
Which
power.
I was known to do when I want to talk to Billy because you have a natural affinity. I mean, I've been to I've been to your gym in LA.
Mhm.
I've been in your home with you and your wife. I love everything you guys are about. What what would you say motivates people the most? I mean, because you're people that you can go, he's like just naturally came that way, right? Like I'm sure you
No,
didn't. No,
no, I didn't
you
come from
had to
that,
work
girl.
for
I got 15 brothers and sisters. And I grew up in the streets, and I know it is to struggle and want something. I know it is to work hard and not quit and not give up. I learned that from my dad. My dad showed us, out of 50, he had 15 kids in our family, right?
whoa.
He didn't quit. He didn't give up on us. He worked to the day he went to be with the Lord, And he always said before, you know, he always said this. He said, Billy, if you ever want something in life, you're gonna have to work for it. It's never gonna come for anything. And going through that, he says long suffering. He always talked about long suffering. Long suffering to me means you got to develop a foundation, and as you develop that foundation, you start to find a way to make things happen. And so in my life, I always had a dream. My goal was, I told my mom, one day I'm gonna be a world champion. My mom said, boy, go somewhere and sit down. You need to go get a job. I knew I got a job. I worked a job, but I had that dream, and that dream was to be a world karate champion.
Mhm.
And when I said that to my mom, she would just look at me and go, oh, she couldn't see the dream. Only dream that she could see is when all of her kids got jobs and they worked and they supported their family and did things like that. That's the vision that they had.
Right.
But God gave me a vision. So I said, you know what? One day I'm gonna be a world champion. At 18 years old, I ended up becoming world champion. I won the
Mm.
United States national title. And then after being a national champion, I got a chance to travel to California in 1975 to be on the United States karate team. And when I did that, I've even never been on the airplane before. So that was going to be my first time getting on the airplane, flying, and then just going away from my uh, ex-wife at that time. I got married at a young age, got married at 18
Mm.
years old.
Mm.
And so I got on a plane and traveled to California. I ended up getting a chance to compete in the World Championships. And when I competed in the World Championships, before it even happened, the coaches was going, hey, you, because I was pretty quiet. I'm a pretty quiet guy. I don't really say too much. I just said, yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. So people thought I was, you know, maybe a little bit slow at that time, you know, but I wasn't. I was just a quiet kid and shy.
Right.
But when I got a chance to get in the ring, I would express myself, right? That was the time to show what I could do. And at the time I was hearing the coaches say, hey, you know, I don't think he can do it. I think he's too quiet. I don't think he has it in him. And you know what? I was the only one that won. All the rest of the team members lost that year. I was the only one that won. And so they were shocked. They were shocked that I went out there and did what they didn't think I was going to do. And everybody else went out there and did what they thought they thought it was right. So it was me. It was just being able to have the motivation to move on. That's all.
I think when we tap into and go literally into the arena of where we're gifted, we will take everybody by surprise. We'll take everybody by storm.
You're right.
We're living our genius. We're in the ring. We're doing it right, and that's where the gift expression comes. Like you got in the ring, you did it.
Right, and you know, like you just said there, like when we get into the ring. See, I like how you said that. Even though you might not have been into the ring as a fighter, but you consider in order for you to be the best, you got to go into the ring. Yeah. You have to go 12 rounds, 13 rounds, 14 rounds, whatever it is. And I always say, who's going to get KO'd? Not me. I'm not getting KO'd. My goal is to get out there and do what God put in my heart to do.
It reminds me of Brene Brown. The reason I said the ring, I don't know if she calls it the arena. I think she calls it the arena. She has this amazing quote, and she's like, when you're like trying to take advice from people, right? It's like, I'm not interested. I'm totally paraphrasing this and I'll probably butcher this, but she's like, if you're not also in the arena getting your ass kicked, I'm not taking your advice.
I can understand that.
Because there's a lot of onlookers who are like, I didn't agree with what he or she is doing.
Well, I can understand what she's saying, because, you know, if you don't go through the fire, how do you know how to get through the fire if you don't go through it? So, you know, to be able to go through what she's been through and what you've been through and other people who's successful has been through, it's hard to know it, because a lot of people can sit on the outside and go, well, I wish I had what that person had, but they don't know how that person got it unless they walked in their shoes. And when you start walking in other people's shoes and you see the stuff that they go through just to be to where they are, you go, whoa, I didn't think it was that hard. You know, I remember wanting to be in my first movie. So, man, I knew I could do what them action guys do. And they gave me a chance to be in my first movie. I was like, wow, this is not easy. This is tough. I got a chance to see that it's not easy. But it looks, when you're sitting on the outside looking in, you go, oh, I can do that. But really, get a chance to try. You go, oh my God, so many takes. Do it over. Do it again. Do it over. Okay, go set. Hurry up and wait. You know, it's like that hurry up and wait game. You gotta be ready for all sorts of things. So
yeah, it's like the repetition for me. It's like showing up over and over and over. And there's that phrase, you know, mother is the repetition of skill, or something like, let me have it backwards. Repetition is mother's skill. Let's talk about mindset and motivation, because there are a lot of people listening to this and going, okay, like I'm not a like champion at anything. I don't care. You know, even maybe they don't care about being the best at something. They just want to find their thing and they want to stay motivated. And let's just talk about fitness.
Okay.
Mental and physical fitness. And why, I mean, that's obviously the channel that you took in your life, and that's the path you took, is to teach that and live that. Okay. And it's huge, but for a lot of people, and I'm going to include myself in that, it can be difficult to stay motivated. And like, I don't care if I have big muscles. I don't care if I want to feel good. I want to feel, and I know you work with a lot of clients who are the same.
Right.
They want to feel good. They want to feel confident. So how do you get the right mindset, motivation to stay in the ring?
Okay. So let me say this. I'd say when most people start off in a workout, or if they start off with anything, I always say, I'm gonna ask you a question. I say, what is fitness or life greatest two enemies? Always ask that question when I'm doing a seminar. Always ask the people listening in. I'm asking you that question too. So if you can listen in and hear this question, always say, what is fitness greatest two enemies? And what is success greatest two enemies? They all work in one. And I always say, think about it before you say something. right? So I said, what is it? And a lot of people go, well, money. Some people say that. Some people, they say all sorts of things. But I say, no, that's not fitness greatest two enemies, and that's not success greatest two enemies. And then I asked them to say this. See if you can say this out loud. Say this out loud. Say I. And if you guys listening in, you can also try this too. Say I look and act like my mind and will.
Like my mind and will.
Right. Say it again.
I look and act like my mind and will.
Okay, now say this. I look and act like my mind and will.
Like my mind and will.
That's a powerful statement. So if you guys are at home and you're saying that, you say, I look and act like my mind and will. Think about what you just said. I look and act like my mind and will. Now say it like this. Say this now. Say I look and act like my body.
Like my body.
That's how most people are. That's why they get discouraged.
So that's the negative frame.
Right, because if you look and act like your body, then you're not going far. I have a mind, I have a will. Right? If I take my mind and will, I can always bring my body under control. But when people go in for a workout, they look at what they look like, they go get on the scale, they get discouraged. If they don't see any progress, they get discouraged. If what they heard don't coincide with what they see, they quit and give up. So I always say fitness greatest two enemies is what you see and what you hear. So don't base your fitness program on how you look in the mirror. Base your fitness program on your will, your mind and your will. And if I get people, I always tell people, when you come in the gym with me, I don't really care about your body. All I care about is your mind and will. Give me a chance to get you to establish your mind and will, and then watch and see what happens to your body. Your body will follow your mind and will.
So let's just say, like, this, right? And you're like, the mantra, I look and act, like my mind and will. And then you just have a really off day. Let's say emotions are coming up and you're, you want to be lazy or all your old programming around it, like all the resistance.
Right. All this stuff comes up, right? Every day. When I get up out of my bed, every day it comes up. Even with me.
I want to stop you right there because I think that people have a misconception of successful people that they're not meeting that same resistance.
No, every day you get up out of bed. Every day.
I remember listening to a Hollywood actress, and I'm not going to say her name, but like she basically called everybody out and said, look, I have this figure, I have this level of physical beauty because I work every moment of my life to align my inner and outer self, my confidence, my beauty.
You have to do that. You got to do that.
We have this perception that really successful people aren't facing the same levels of resistance that everyone else is.
Successful people are facing, even sometimes, when you become successful, your problems get bigger. They don't stay little, they get bigger. So I always tell people, I think one of the most important things about fitness is to be able to, as I establish this, right? Since I read the Bible and I don't tell people what to read, what to believe in, but I like the Bible. The Bible is a really important book for me. And it says in the book of Proverbs, death and life is in the power of the tongue. And those who love it, and I like this because the scripture comes to my head and I go, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will get its fruit. And God always established good things with fruit. Why? Because fruit have seeds. And if you plant the seeds, what happens? They grow. So I got to watch what I say out of my mouth. So I always ask people this question: who words do you believe the most? Most people say my own. Who words do you know the most? Your own. You're right. So you cannot surpass what you think of yourself. If you say to yourself, I don't know why I'm going to that job interview, I'm not going to get it. You're right. You cannot surpass your own thinking. Why? Because God made us like him. You say, you say, like, I don't like to, like, my thing is, I don't want to preach to people, but if you ask how I become successful, I'm going to tell people, look, if you listen to some of the things that's in the Bible, right? I take some of the things out of the Bible and I establish and put it in my life. And it says, God says, let us create man and woman in our own image according to our likeness. So I know he's talking
plural, our man
right?
and woman.
Right. He says, I was talking to the Father, the Son, and the Holy One, right? The three-part person. if I look at myself and you look at yourself, God made us a 3-part person. He made us a soul, a spirit, and a body. God knew what he was doing. And then he said, let us make them like us according to our likeness. So then look in the book of Proverbs, death and life is in the power of the tongue. So that means, how did God create the world? He spoke it into existence. Some people believe he did that. So if God speaks things into existence, what do you think you do to your own life?
Absolutely.
Right. You speak things into existence.
Well, at the very, very beginning of the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the word. I believe that is the very first sentence of the Bible.
That's right.
So I'm with you on that. I feel that we are speaking into creation all of the time.
I
in our
believe
thoughts, not just what's being spoken out.
Right. Thoughts,
And
ideas,
those thoughts.
and suggestions. Thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. Enters into the head.
Yeah. Beautiful. So let's move into the spirituality, because there's like a lot of people with different spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs, or whatever that listen to this podcast. And I've had my own journey with what spirituality means to you. And when you and I talked before, I love what you said, that spirituality to you is walking in holiness. How does fitness, let's just say, or body movement allow a person to walk in holiness? How, and maybe personalize it for yourself.
Okay, for myself, I can talk about me, and I can talk about a lot of people, millions of people, because I was pretty blessed to go into the homes of 115 million people. I've been to 106 countries training people in fitness, and I know that it's not something that I made up. It's something that God put in my heart to do, because it's a good opportunity for me to talk to people about how to bring spiritual and physical together. So when a person looks at that, and how do they get themselves going? For me, I don't want to be motivated. You know why? Because motivation doesn't last.
Yeah, it's fleeting.
Motivation doesn't last. Motivation, if I'm doing things, everything is based on Cincinnati. Hey, Tomoko.
Yeah, we can hear Tomoko's conversation.
Right.
She's so cute.
Okay.
And now you can probably hear my dog barking, so it's all recorded.
No, but anyway,
you said motivation doesn't work.
For me, I don't like it, because if you think about being motivated, it's based on what? Motivation is based on what?
I don't know, just willpower, I guess.
Well, think about it. What happens to willpower?
It comes and goes. So you can't sustain it.
It runs out.
Yeah.
I don't want my life based on that, because if I base my life on that, I'm gonna be getting up every day in a bad mood, get in a place where I don't want to be. So I don't base my life on that. Base my life on being taught. Teach me how to have a good life. Don't motivate me. Teach me how to have a good life. Like they said in the Bible, teachers are men. Teach me, right? And if you could teach me how to do something, I can go forward and do it. But if you're going to motivate me, I can be motivated for a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And then sooner or later, it's going to be gone.
It's like that teach a man to fish.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think when you teach a person, you give them a principle. You say, hey, look, these are the principles that you have to go by. If you take these principles and you do this, right? I said this, if you take these principles and you do this, watch and see what happens to your life. It's going to change. What's the key word in that sentence?
Watch.
Huh?
I don't know. Watch, maybe?
No. Give me, what do you think key word was in that sentence?
Say the sentence again.
I said, if you do these things.
Action. You have to move to action. You have to do it.
Okay. That's the key word, but it's a catchword. Remember, motivational speakers will throw catchwords. Why? Because I want to catch you and make you feel like, whoa, man, that's awesome. You can do it. But the most powerful word in that whole sentence was the word if.
Okay.
The word if. Why is if the key word? You have a free will. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. I always tell my clients, I cannot make you come to this gym. I cannot make you work hard. But if you do these things, watch and see what happens to your life.
Watch and see.
See, and people miss the word.
You said the two enemies of fitness are seeing and hearing. And that conversely, those can be the things that save you, right? That's right. The paradox here.
That's right.
Your two best friends and your two greatest enemies.
Right. And the only reason why I say they can be your two worst enemies, because if what you see don't coincide with what somebody has told you, like I ask you, how do you lose weight? You go, well, I did this and I did this. Okay, I go get the tapes and I do what you did. And then I go, wow, it didn't work. So I'm not doing that anymore. So I said, don't base your life on what you see and hear. Because if you base your life on what you see and hear, you'll never be able to go forward in life.
Right.
So I look at success the same way. So in order for me to be able to do things, I have to not look at what people say I am, because growing up as a kid, I had dyslexia. And having dyslexia, it made me not be able to read. Well, I didn't start reading until I was 40 years old.
Wow.
I was too scared to get in front of people and open up a book and read it in front of people because I would leave words out. So people thought I was mentally handicapped, but I was not mentally handicapped. I was just a shy kid that had a learning disorder that people in my days didn't know what it was. I didn't find out until I was 35 years old I had dyslexia. So when I got involved with fitness gave me an opportunity to see how to bring mind and body and spirit together. And once I learned how to do that, who would ever think that I would create a word called Tae Bo? It's in a dictionary. Who would ever think I'd be that person? Matter of fact, who would ever think I would create a word that would become an acronym? TAEBO. T stands for take. A stands for action. E stands for execute. B stands for bodyguard. O stands for overcome the obstacle. Right? And I know that people have those 5 things in their life that always coming toward them.
They're always coming back to that mind, body, spirit center.
So when you say physical fitness, body shows emotions. When I see you move, movement shows emotions. You don't have to tell me that you're tired. I can already see it by the way you move, how you expressing yourself.
I'm really tuned into when people are suffering emotionally, which all of us are, it's to some degree, but like depression speaks. It doesn't use words.
That's right.
There's an energy to that. And it's not a judgment on someone. It's just, hey, this is what you're experiencing right now. And being able to read that and sort of feel into where they're really at. I can take my cues. I can take my cues and try to be more sensitive, if I'm picking that up. And I would assume that it's the same for you in the fitness industry or when you're working with clients. You really kind of have to read and meet people where they're at.
You got to.
And so, like you're saying, motivation is lost on them. If the elephant in the room is this emotion, and usually that's what we're fighting in the ring. And resisting is Jeff and I are doing a lot of work on our marriage and just deepening our connection. And we realize that we have this energetic stance that we go into protection where it's like we're putting boxing gloves up energetically. Like we're not going to hit each other, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, but I understand what you're saying.
That defensive stance of like, don't hurt me with the, the fists in the air by the heart. It's, I take that visual on because I recognize that I don't want the person closest to me to feel like they have to defend themselves against me. Nor would I ever want to teach a principle, like you're saying, where that would elicit that same response in someone else, where they would feel like, oh, so meeting them where they're at. I love, because I feel like that's what you were doing, but just like calling things out in those tapes that I listened to.
You have to meet people, and you have to be able to talk with people. Not just talk at the people. A lot of people talk at people and people go, oh, I ain't doing that. I believe that if you talk to people and you talk to the heart and you show them your not innocence, but your vulnerabilities. And then people can say, you know what, Billy Blanks is just like me. He's only a man. All he's trying to get me to do is get up off the couch and see the values that I have in my heart. And if I can get people to see the values that I have in my heart, people say, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. And that's the truth. I tell people I'm no difference than anybody who's listening in right now. I'm no difference. I said, who makes people who they are? Who makes people who they are?
Well, you could say God, but it's yourself. It's you.
No, I know. Yeah, that's right.
It's you.
It's not just me. Who makes people who I am? People. If people don't buy my videos, you wouldn't even hear about Billy Blanks. But people gave me an opportunity. They go, you know what? I like what that man is saying. And because I like what he's saying, I'm going to get his video. And because they got my video, it made me become a popular person in fitness. And I recognize that. So I always tell people when I step into the arena with you guys, when I come on the screen, I come on as a privilege and an honor. It's an honor to be in your living room. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to reach out and try to touch you in different ways to help you get up.
And I think that humility and gratitude really comes through. I want to kind of wrap it up with kind of circling back to like, because maybe I'm thinking of this now because I just said that gratitude and humility is there. Is that kind of what you mean when you're saying you walk the path of holiness?
Yeah, you know, when you say when I walk the path of holiness, I always say I'm going to walk up. I'm going to be upright. I'm going to walk upright. I'm going to walk in God's standards. You know, if I walk in God's standards, I can meet everybody's standards. You know, walking in God's standards. So do I need to tell somebody you need to do that? No. All I need to do is be an example. If I be an example, then people say, Billy, how do you get like that? I just say, hey, these are some of the things that I do. And if you want to try it, because I guarantee you, it'll give you a way. It'll give you a platform. And once you get that platform, you'll start to see, wow, you know, I can change my life in many different ways.
Sure.
You know?
It's so inspiring. What would you say, maybe this is the last question I'll ask you, to someone who feels like they kind of missed their window? Maybe they feel like they're aging, or maybe they feel like they're just super, super, super overweight and unfit. And they have been for so many years.
I always tell people, you never miss your window. The window's always open. You just have to take that step. And once you take a step, don't look back. You know why? I always tell people, you ain't got nothing to lose. You can always go back to what you used to be. It's there waiting for you. So you might as well do what? Take the step forward. Going backwards is right around the corner and is waiting. So you ain't got nothing to lose. I tell people, you ain't got nothing to lose, do you? Nope. Then go ahead and go forward in life and watch and see what happens. I guarantee you, you're going to see things that'll happen in your life that you never even thought that would happen. And all of a sudden, and I think people do that too. I think people see things happen in their life and they go, oh, whoa. And they don't realize it. And they don't capture the power on how they got there.
I think a lot of it is that just taking self-accountability that they've created what's there. And again, we're not judging it. It is what it is.
No,
every one of us are just the walking embodiment of what we've created through our thoughts and our.
Well, let me ask you a question. What happens? Well, if somebody asks you this question, right? Because people always ask me questions. I say, let me ask you this question. When Jesus was tempted, right? When he was tempted, how did the tempter come?
Are you talking about when he was in the wilderness for those 40 days and everything?
Yeah.
It came in like with food and water and all the survival because he was fasting, right?
So let me ask you a question. So when it came, right? Well, if I'm coming to you, right? If I'm coming to you, you can see me and I have a stick or I have a knife or a gun. Are you going to sit there? Are you going to sit there and wait for me?
I see where you're going. No, it was super subtle. It was like a voice inside. It was.
You know how it came? Thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. So if I'm in the wilderness as a human being, you know, Satan's going to come to me in my thoughts. He's going to come to me in my ideas. He's going to come to me in all those three situations I just said: thoughts, ideas, and suggestions.
So the enemy, that's the enemy. That's inside our ears. It's in our body.
And what does the enemy do? What does the enemy do?
For me, what I've learned in my life, that the core of what the enemy, and you could call it many things, Satan or whoever, whatever, is to tell you that you're not enough. So in some way, shape, or form, you're not good enough.
Without a doubt, that's the best way. That's the best way to kill a person's spirit, is to tell them, I don't know why you're doing that. You're gonna quit and give up. You're not going anywhere. So I always tell people, watch out for that, because it's gonna come. Right? Thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. You know, when you that's why I say I look and act like my mind and will. I don't look and act like my body. My body is just the results of what I think. The things that I do is just the results of what I think. So when you come, remember, when you come to me, be ready for a fight, because I'm not giving in that fast. And I gotta listen. I know for myself, I know death and life is in the power of everybody's tongue. So when I listen to people talk, I can just about tell
what their life's gonna be
like, and how they're gonna come at you. So I go, okay, no problem. I'm prepared. You know, so, I'm not gonna get upset because I was already warned. I was already warned, you know, this and this and this and this. Listen to what people say to you. If you listen to what people say to you, then you can just about get through what you need to get through to fight to win.
Perfect. Wow. Well, that's great, Billy. And I honor you for your work in the world, your path. You walk your talk. I know you personally. I know your wife. And I love what you guys are about, what you're creating. I
Thank
know you
you.
have a family. And so thank you for your time. I
Thank you for the
don't have a
opportunity.
lot of men on my podcast. I wanted to like masculine like take on
Well,
how you move into your soul path. And
thank you.
so thank you for reflecting that to us
Thank
and
you.
staying true to you.
And all you guys out there, if you're listening in, I just want to say thank you guys for listening in and giving us the opportunity to speak to you. Put on the power. Don't quit. Don't get discouraged. And don't give up. And watch
Thank
yourself.
you. That's perfect. Thank you.
All right.